now digging in to the BLM funds. I can tell you where $6 million went. 3 co-founders of BLM bought a house in LA, 6 bedrooms, 6 baths, swimming pool, a sound stage. It was supposed to be an asset of BLM used for charity fundraising. Fundraising was going great. The New York Post reported that one of the BLM organizers bought 3 other properties, 2 in LA, 1 in Atlanta. And one of the founders, since admitting it probably wasn't the best idea to spend that kind of money on homes. But she insists, I did not pocket any money. And then she said, it is false to accuse me of stealing, her words, to accuse me of stealing from black people. That response opens up several questions.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
John Beal knows that right after a hailstorm, new roofing companies start popping up everywhere. But the Small Business Administration reports 96% of them go out of business within the first 5 years. So how good is that warranty? John Beal started in the roofing business, helping his granddad and his dad. Always offering the best roof, best price, best guarantee. John Beal Roofing, not some fly-by-the-night operation. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Hey, it's Susie Moore with a reminder that for 20 years, Harpo's Chesterfield has been the heart of West County's fun. With their award-winning patio, voted best in West County, and excellent sports bar atmosphere, Harpo's is your one-stop destination. The mouth-watering menu has made them famous throughout St. Louis. Plus, they've got great drink specials and the friendliest, most energetic staff around. Whether you're dining in or carrying out, Harpo's delivers fun, food, and drinks like no one else. Harpo's Chesterfield. Call 636-537-1970 or visit harposstl.com.
Because truth matters.
Let's speak that truth.
Because understanding matters.
Let's break this down.
With all that's happening.
And it's happening a lot faster.
What matters most is...
the only question that matters here.
Are you informed?
Important issues that are facing this country.
Depend on us.
The latest events.
The information you need.
Here are the facts.
When you need it.
We always have great conversations.
You guys have a great radio station.
101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. News Talk STL.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Monday. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL, the 3 martini lunch. It's okay if you did it up over the weekend, Halloween, and Saturday night watching the Dodgers win the World Series, which was outstanding and awesome. Daughter Natalie hated it, but I loved it. She took it really very personally, especially when I was celebrating so hard. But you guys have to understand it's very personal for me in the end because I can't stand Canadians, and so you start waving a Canadian flag at a baseball game, I'm out with you, done with you, and we'll then proceed to wish baseball hell on you, which is exactly how it all worked out. So there we go. I think the team is great, but it's just one of those things where the the team would be great if the fans weren't Canadian. So that would be great. That's how I go. Anyway, Ashland's over there as well, and it was a wonderful weekend all around. So Halloween was spent with my whole family was in because it was the weekend of my mom's memorial service on Saturday, which was really beautiful, and I appreciated all of your thoughts that you sent to me in varying different ways, and also knew you guys were there too, because as much as I've talked about her and everything else, it was actually streamed. I didn't know that it was streamed live on the Grace Episcopal Church webpage. It might still be up there. I don't know. And I'm not saying you'd go there and watch it, but nonetheless, if you want to get a glimpse of what it was like, it was gorgeous, and it was a really great weekend. My mom would have loved it. My mom would have been like, how come? I wish I was there. It's like, nah, you're good, because, now you're with all those people that you and I chatted about all the time. And, in the speeches that we did at the post memorial, we had a little gathering at a place called the Hearth Room in Webster Groves, which was very nice, and saw a lot of my mom's old friends there too, which was really wonderful. And then, of course, I was second to last. I was the youngest in the family, and then Beth wanted to add something at the end, so she went in there. And so my two sisters were really critical, not only my two sisters, but also her caretaker, Zizi, who I've told you about, beautiful woman, and her kids were there as well. I'm taking them fishing next week on my mom's birthday, just so you know. First time forever. A little couple of kids. Mama's from Iraq. They're devout Muslims and everything else, but we're going to go Muslim fishing. I don't know what that looks like, but I got the poles. I'm ready to go. So anyway, we give the speeches and everything else. My sisters were great and were so good in terms of taking care of her and in her later portion of her life, and I think prolonged her life to a certain degree. Because I said, if anything, I probably was more sometimes worked counter to that, because I remember Allison sometimes telling me, Jamie, you need to stop bringing mom Reubens. My mom loved Reuben sandwiches, but the problem is, you get a little older there, the salt content and all that kind of stuff. And so, once I was told not to bring him anymore, I stopped doing it. But anyway, I describe myself as my mom's vaudevillian, so to speak. So I kind of came in for the entertainment. I was there, as I told you before, our famous drinking stories and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of there for, we would jabber. We would talk all the time. And my mom loved to talk about her family and about actually the very people who she is currently with in heaven. And I think one of her favorites was her grandfather, Martin, who passed away when she was only 9 years old, but she remembers everything about him, which is really fascinating about all that. And her mom and dad and her sister and just all these wonderful people that she was able to spend. And yet, Julie, weekly selfies. Those were our vodka and scripture nights. We had some very, very interesting conversations about life and about our family, about everything. And so she and I were super close and had those discussions. And that's kind of was my role. I was the entertainment, so to speak, but it was more than that. And it was really, really sweet. And we had some wonderful times together and going way, way back to the old days, and even the days when we would stay literally up all night. It was when I was in college, and I'd go up to see her in Bayhead, New Jersey, and we'd stay up until 6 a.m, drinking and smoking and doing all this kind of stuff. Oh, my mom didn't quit smoking until she was like 85. So I mean, I still don't understand any of that, but she was great. But anyway, so quickly, we just had those times together that were I'll never forget them. And the good thing is, oftentimes it is the case, but I never missed a moment to tell her that. I never missed a moment to tell her what an amazing, soft, strong, feminine queen she was to me, and taught me patience. Her love of God was incredible, and her faith and her happiness. She nothing really bothered her. So that's why it was perfect when I walked into the church. So we had to get there a little early to kind of go through some things, because I was reading the gospel, which was great. It was actually one of the greatest hits. I talked about that before I read it. I said, my mom and I would be always excited when we would read scripture together, because when one of the gospels, like one of the greatest hits of the gospels would come, we'd be like, oh, so excited. I was like, oh, this is one of the greatest hits. We'd read it and talk about it and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I walk into the church, the church lobby, the vestibule there, and I see ZZ, and I'm walking in, and the first thing I do is I trip over the easel that is holding her glass framed picture on it, and I trip over it. It falls to the floor and shatters into a million pieces. On it, flat on its face. So basically it's, I was just going to hug ZZ, and I tripped over it. And it was such a typical, my mom would have said after that happened, she would have said, "You're like a bull in the china shop." And so here we are, this glass is all over the place, and I pick it up. It's her picture. And, most people would have been, including me, would have been like, "Oh no, mom's picture shattered on the floor." And instead, I was like, well, my two sisters, Beth and Luann, were like, "Well, looks like Jamie's here," which is typical, because I really was. I'm kind of like the Dick Van Dyke of the family. I'll come in and trip over the first ottoman you see, and so we swept it up and everything else. And my mom would have been laughing, because it was just such a move. And so I pick it up and get all the glass out of it. And ZZ says, "I think it actually looks better, because the glass had this reflection in it and everything else. And so now you can see all the colors of her picture." And actually it was true, because I imagining it, because I didn't see it before that, because I walked in and tripped right over it and broke it. But she said, yeah, the glass was distracting. It took away from the colors in her dress and all the pictures and everything else. And so it looks better. So anyway, but it was so typical. And again, so generally, so it's a memorial service, and you'd think that if you walk in and you like break your mother's picture, like, oh no, it's like, I was trying to think. So I know breaking a mirror is like 7 years bad luck. Is this like bad luck at an attorney? I never even thought about that. I just like, well, okay, go get a broom, sweep it up, put it back up, and nobody will ever know. It's kind of a larger version of like when we would be like, "Mom, there's mold on the cheese," and cut it off. Like, okay, yeah, sure. There's a piece of moldy bread. Yeah, just take it out and throw it away and eat the other stuff. I mean, it's like that kind of thing. So my mom wouldn't have sweated this at all. And you know what? Nobody else did either, because that's the one thing we've always been about is not taking things too seriously and looking at things from more of the bright side than anything else. And to tell you the truth, sometimes that would drive people around us crazy, because we didn't get as crazed over things that other people did. And so sometimes that would be masking itself as maybe not caring as much. But that's not true. It's always been that way, where we just kind of like things just gloss over us. So it was really a beautiful, amazing day. And I knew you guys were all with me, and I was like, really, I was just, it was a beautiful day. So, it was weird because too, so I read the gospel, and I was like bawling throughout the whole thing, not through the reading, but before it all happened. I was like, how am I going to get through this without standing up there and crying, and what? Damn it, he has to do the news. That was beautiful radio right there. Gotcha. Yeah, man. So, and I was like trying to conjure this up. Like, I was like, I can't go up there because I really could have, but I can't go up there and just cry. I got to make it through because my mom would want that. My mom hardly ever cried. I've seen her cry twice. And we would talk about a few things, but rarely. My mom was very sentimental and everything else, but she wouldn't be sitting cross-legged on the floor with you. That wasn't her type. But anyway, I was like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? Because I don't want to cry. I don't really want to. And there's nothing wrong with crying. I just didn't want to sit there and blubber up there reading this beautiful John the 14th gospel. So I sat there and I prayed about it. I said, give me the strength to get up there. And then I also figured out I would do something of the nature of going up there and actually doing something my mom would do, which would like to take the edge off and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, I did grab my lederhosen that she made us wear in church. By the way, I have the outfit I wore to show it to you sometime. But anyway, so I went up there. I said, good morning. And as my mom would always say, rise and shine. And so that put me in this reset mode where I could really read this gospel the way it was intended, at a beautiful one. And it's John 14 gospel. And it was really super beautiful. And it was kind of let not your hearts be troubled. I got a place for you. Everything's cool. Everything's going to be good. And so don't you worry about a thing. And that's really kind of the essence of my mom anyway. And so it was really pretty amazing. And then I also, by the way, so I would, every time I need to go take a break here, I would always go, and when we would have vodka Christian nights, for some reason, I never brought my glasses. So I would always have to wear my mom's pink glasses. And so I never got a picture of me in her pink glasses reading the scriptures to her, but I always wear her glasses. Never thought, like, you'd think after about 7 years of doing this that I would have, like, one day I'm going to bring my own glasses. Never did. Used her glasses. And then, as I pointed out, I said, well, this time, I brought my own glasses. I had to finally grow up. So I did.
Unsentimental, traveling around, sure of myself, sure of it now. You stand this close to me, like the future was supposed to be, in the aisles of the grocery, and the blocks uptown.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for listening to the show. And as we move on, Judge Napolitano is going to be on with us later on. And it was not a good weekend for the Democrats. Man, did they keep running into buzzsaws. Sometimes other liberals were helping President Trump. Pretty crazy. Phil is Googling lederhosen. Dude, I'm telling you, it was crazy. I loved him. So my mom one time told a story about how, my brother, who was a little older than me, about 6 years older than me, came home crying one time because people made fun of him in church. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, and you never cried when people made fun of you. I was like, I didn't even know people were making fun of me. So I was like, look at me, I'm wearing my lederhosen, everybody. It's like, I dug it though. And that was my mom, always styling. All right, people, this is the 3 Martini Lunch, the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
You were always fine.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Schneider's True Value Hardware, and you talk about a really wonderful place for you to kind of back, goes old school, man. I'm telling you. So 100 years right there in Old Town St. Peter's, basically the same place for 100 years, a hardware store. That's old school. That's vintage. That's legend. And that's also longevity because of what Schneider's has been doing for that community in that area. And for people who come from all over, which you should be able to come from all over, to experience the difference when it comes to great help for any of your weekend warrior projects, for fantastic tools like the Steel products, which are those battery-powered lawn care products and beyond. The Steel brand is really a good one. STIHL is a good one. They do parts, service, everything else along the lines for that. And then you have Charlie, and you have all these guys who are helping you out, ready to help you out. And Jerry Schneider, this is a family-run operation, so they're going to be there to help you with all of your needs. Go in, have a question about something, need to match something, whatever. Somebody is on you like white on rice, and that's great too. You're not running around having to find somebody or look it up on your cell phone or what have you. It's always right there for you at Schneider's True Value Hardware Store. Longtime supporters of free, common sense, conservative radio. They were one of the first supporters of the show when I came back here to News Talk, and so appreciate these guys. Check it out at truevalue.com, truevalue.com/Schneiders, truevalue.com/Schneiders.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Come over to my house, jump in the neighbor's pool. It felt nice. It felt so nice. And it was getting dark. You wrapped your long legs around me. I held on tight, lying in my bed. The unfamiliar sheets were so cool.
Good afternoon, everyone.
On your skin.
Happy Monday to all of you. Common Sense Radio for all you. The 3 Martini Lunch. Jamie Allman here and Ashlyn there, and news. November is like going to be rolling soon. It's Christmas time. An interesting little autumn. Autumn of change. I had this big owl in my yard that I always hear around this time. It's just, and I guess owl, it's a spirit animal. It's just about change and all that stuff. And I hear it every year, and I guess every year something changes. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, but it does. It does. All right. So this is interesting. This was a really telling week for everything that the left and the Democrats ran up against. Just basically bowled them over. I mean, it was kind of like if you're watching football ever, and the running back takes that flying run through the line and somebody just like stuffs him right back. That's what it was like for so many Democrats. And it came from some rather unlikely sources. So this first one happened on the Morning Joe program. And you know how Morning Joe has been like so just vicious on President Trump, and I guess it appeared that What's-Her-Nuts wasn't there, so Joe Scarborough just basically went ahead and did what I think any fair-minded person should do. And this is a Democrat Congressman, Seth Moulton, another middle-aged white liberal who, to me, is, for the most part, at least the ones that are elected, are the most dangerous people on the planet, because there really is no reason for any male above the age of 40 to be a Democrat. I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, I know some, but you're probably dragged into it by your moo-moo wearing wife. I have no idea what's going on with you when you're doing that. It's a betrayal of what real life should be, but it's okay. I mean, it's up to you. Everything's cool. I don't judge you. I don't hate you. I don't, and I'll do anything for you. But I think that if you're over the age of 40 and you're a male and you're a Democrat, you're out of your mind. And if you're over the age of 40 and you're black and you're a Democrat, you're suicidal. You're irresponsible, and it's crazy. So anyway, Seth Moulton, one of those guys, decides they're going to go ahead and throw a bunch of attacks down onto Donald Trump and the Epstein files and all this kind of stuff. Keep in mind, by the way, just in case you didn't know this, Joe Biden didn't release the Epstein files either, just so you know, he didn't release the Epstein files either. So anyway.
To freedom with Trump. If you are one of the people like him who took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein, then we're going to sort of make that go away. I mean, fundamentally, Speaker Johnson...
We don't have evidence that he took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. Just common sense be damned.
Yeah, you should have seen the look on this punk's face when Joe Scarborough said, hey, you don't have any evidence of what you just said there. That President Trump took advantage of young girls with Epstein. You don't have any evidence of that. And crazily enough, he didn't just stop there. I mean, Joe Scarborough was like, no, you don't understand. I'm serious. You don't have any evidence here.
I'm not saying common sense be damned. I'm saying facts. Let's look at the facts. Is he in the Epstein files?
He's obviously in the Epstein files. And the reason that fundamentally Speaker Johnson has us on vacation is because he does not want to seat the newly elected Democratic representative.
Right, but you said he
Arizona.
took advantage of young girls. You have absolutely no evidence of that.
I think it's pretty obvious that that's what's going on.
You think it's pretty obvious?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, listen to this guy. If I'm President Trump, I'm suing this guy into poverty at this point. I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, and I mean, what's crazy is President Trump has always proven this to these individuals, that just because he's a public figure doesn't mean you can make accusations against him that are full-blown pedophile accusations against someone. The fact that, I mean, obviously we do have things where it is a issue of where you've got to make sure all the I's are dotted, and T's are crossed on this. And there are situations where somebody can say, well, my opinion is this, but normally that will get you out of a lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit, if you say, well, my opinion is this. This guy's not even saying that it's his opinion. He's stating it as a matter of fact, which will absolutely smoke you in any kind of defamation case. Again, that's why in many cases, people who make really sick allegations against people can say, in my opinion, he is a pedophile. But when you say, obviously he is a pedophile, that is going to get you hauled into court, and you will get a defamation ruling against you. There's a big difference in that, which is why you see a lot of people who will say that I have certain, I feel this is my opinion, blah, blah, blah. This guy doesn't do that. And he says that, in fact, he says a couple of things that are going to get him cooked if President Trump decides to sue. He says, first of all, common sense tells me that President Trump took advantage of young girls with Epstein. And he also says, obviously, he took advantage of young girls with Epstein. I don't know how President Trump doesn't sue this guy. And again, a lot of people would say, yeah, but I mean, do we really need to go there this again with a lawsuit and all this stuff? But you're not going to train these people. As I said last week, that it's very critical that, at some point we have to make sure we take advantage of the chance to take the puppy and shove his nose in the poop that he lays on our kitchen floor and teach them never again. At some point, you got to go ahead and go for it.
In the Epstein files?
He's obviously in the Epstein files. And the reason that fundamentally Speaker Johnson has us on vacation is because he does not want to seat the newly elected Democratic representative.
Right, but you said he took
Arizona.
advantage of young girls. You have absolutely no evidence of that.
I think it's pretty obvious that that's what's
You
going on.
think it's pretty obvious?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well just have a cash register sound here, That's $10 million right there.
I do. And I think it's pretty obvious to the Republican.
John Lemire, any reporting on this?
Well, we know that he's friends with Epstein. We know the birthday card was in there. I mean, he has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
No.
I think that's the point you're trying to make. But also, certainly here.
And by the way, it's this reporter is even like, well, I think that's the point you're trying to make. It's like Joe Scarborough's like, this isn't a point. This isn't a point counterpoint here. This isn't crossfire. This is you saying something. A congressman saying something that is patently false. Well, that has not been proven. And it's not just, I have another opinion about that. No, it's a matter of fact that it has not been proven. So you can't say he obviously took advantage of young girls with Epstein. But even this reporter is just kind of standing there, hemming and hawing over the thing. When I think Joe, you're making the point that this is a flat out absolute lie. I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, really, really pretty crazy. I think you're making the point. This is a lie. It's like that's not just making a point.
We know that Speaker Johnson has kept the House out of session, in large part to not seat the Congresswoman-elect from Arizona who would provide a decisive vote to release more material. So, yeah, certainly that would be, any association with further embarrassment.
And also the book that Virginia Giuffre wrote said she never saw him around there. And I'm not doing his bidding. I'm just saying there's enough things to talk about Donald Trump without talking about.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's Joe Scarborough, who was absolutely and completely and totally such a thorn in President Trump's side, coming to his rescue. And by the way, I think one of the more disappointing parts of this whole configuration here, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, is how the reporter is kind of like, well, I don't know. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be supplying the facts here, not kind of hemming and hawing and shucking and jiving next to this congresswoman. I mean, how is it that you're having so much trouble reaffirming what Joe Scarborough is saying? How is it that you're having so much trouble with this? It's crazy, but man, and it didn't stop there. We had Scott Bessent, who was absolutely just really so good. And then, of course, Mike Johnson. You know, it's funny because Mike Johnson always seems like it's Mike Johnson, you know, glasses, little guy. But he can be pretty tough. And also, there's a big thing going on in Mississippi. And it involves police officers and people in law enforcement, American law enforcement, helping the cartels. Andrew Bailey is on this. We'll follow up with that. And this is as bad as it gets. And I pretty much feel like I can guarantee you that this cannot be the only local law enforcement operation that might be helping the cartels. In fact, it made me realize, wow, this is probably happening a lot. Oh, and it looks like the Democrats are trying to figure out, hey, the 60 Minutes interview was just like the Kamala one. We should sue. It's like, nah. Got news for you. We'll have all that for you. This is a happy Monday to all of you and yours. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Gemini Wealth Group and Jeff Portman. I love these guys so much. Jeff Portman is really a great guy. So I've known him for a while. His wife actually was a teacher at Aiden's school and helped Aiden get into Chaminade with her little recommendations, a math teacher. But anyway, I've known these guys. And for Jeff and the Gemini Wealth Group, supporting free, common sense, conservative radio was absolutely a no-brainer as far as Jeff and the team are concerned. The GeminiWealthGroup.com, the GeminiWealthGroup.com is where you can find them. So this is all about your retirement. This is all about making sure that you're ready to rock and roll. Some people are living 20, 30, 40 years past their retirement when they retire. So you've got to make sure all your money's in order. You've got to make sure you've got divesting or investing that actually is. He's not on until 140, dear. He's not on until 140. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just take a little break. There. Yeah. 140. Ashland. Can't wait to have Judge Napolitano on the show. Yeah, he's a 140 guy. So anyway, yeah. Where was I? Oh, so you got to make sure the investments are occurring at the right pace. And it's not just, a lot of times it's about diversification, but it's not just about throwing it everywhere in all these categories. It's actually about making sure it's targeted to something that's going to grow your portfolio, almost to the point where it'd be wonderful if for some reason, way, shape, or form, you didn't ever have to tap into the really bulk of your investments and instead had the ability to live off the dividends from the investment. So that's how they work it, making sure your health care is taken care of, all your mortgage bills, all that kind of stuff is all worked out. That's the promise of the Gemini Wealth Group, the GeminiWealthGroup.com, the GeminiWealthGroup.com.
Hey, it's Monday, and that means great pizza at a great price. All 3 Steph's Pizza locations make Monday great again with a 16-inch large pizza for just the price of a small. You heard right, a large Steph's Pizza, however you would like it, for the price of a small. All 3 St. Charles County locations of Steph's Pizza are making Mondays great again, and they have a different special every night of the week. Check it out at stephspizza.com.
Colombo and Company.
We're over a month into the government shutdown, and New York is about to elect a new mayor. It's going to be a busy week, and we'll get you the latest Monday with Paul Kurtman and AI expert Mike McCleary.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Quiet little voices creep into my head. I'm young again. I'm young again. I'm young again. I'm young again. Quiet little monsters creep into my bedroom wall. I'll fall for you. I'll fall for you. I'll fall for you. Quiet words of wisdom creep into your victim's ears. I'll die for you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Allman Report. Jamie Allman here, Ashton over there, and News Talk STL is where it's all at. Happy Monday. Man, it was a really interesting weekend. Didn't have it. I had to, like when we had everybody over on Friday night, there were some people who came by the house, but generally there was never really not a lot of people who come by the neighborhood that I'm in because the houses are so far apart, you know. But man, I gotta tell you, the Halloween is one of my favorites. Although Friday night was obviously, it had a different vibe to it because it had my family in before my mom's memorial. So, but how I love Halloween. I had all my lights out, everybody. I even had my lighted pumpkin and all that kind of stuff, and bought these white pumpkins and carved them out. Made some badass pumpkin seeds, and then carved it out, and then carved the little circle out in front, and made like little pumpkin lanterns out of them. You see, they're actually pretty good, Ashton. You'd enjoy what I did. Let me show you. I'll show you. It's not good radio, but you guys don't care. See, look, Ashlyn, those look nice. Little candles
I
in
didn't
them.
know you did crafts.
Oh,
That's
I do
great.
craft. I am. Mm-hmm. There you go. I'm pointing at the microphone. Here, talk, picture. There you go. Not bad, right, people? When I had them kind of. I had that one that's like my mantle there, and I had the pictures of my mom, and got some flowers from the pool, and then I put the little. That's the little lantern there. See, people, stick with me. Yeah, no, I know. I've had situations where I've taken, like when my mom. One of the things last year I made for my mom was it was like a vase, and I filled it with string lights, and then I put ornaments in the vase and a couple vintage ornaments in there and gave it to her. She really liked it. But yeah, some people are like, who made that? It's like, me. Oh, gotcha. Because I do that and put those things together. So I can do things for people, crafty. All right, so this is another one, and I want you to see how Scott Bessent, I mean, these guys were making the rounds, and what's happening really, although this is on Fox News, but what is happening is we have these guys making the rounds, and they're showing up on shows. I mean, I think here on Fox News Sunday, for instance, I think she's a very balanced person. She's not necessarily considered to be conservative, whatever, but they're making the rounds and making an impact. And as you saw from the Joe Scarborough thing, it looks like the news media is finally starting to think, man, you guys really are screwing this up. I mean, you guys are responsible for the shutdown. This is your fault. And you guys have nothing going except, kind of criticism of President Trump and all this kind of stuff. And Scott Bessent was going after Hakeem Jeffries because Jeffries has been talking about how President Trump and all these guys are dangerous to our democracy, illness and death, all this stuff. And Bessent's like, come on.
What do you make of his characterization of what happened in China?
I think it's ignorant.
Well, and you heard, by the way, also on top of that, Hakeem Jeffries went out there and said, hey, he was punked. That's what Hakeem Jeffries used the term, punked. Like, Hakeem Jeffries, this isn't 1995, dude. He was punked. It's like, what? Yeah, President Trump was punked by the Chinese. And it's like, Besset's like, you got to be kidding me.
What do you make of his characterization of what happened in China?
I think it's ignorant, and I think it's kind of sad he has no idea how ignorant he is, because I was in the room, and I can tell you I was there for the president's entire trip, and it was a tour de force. President went into Malaysia, signed trade deals, peace deals with Thailand and Cambodia, that everyone in the Asia region wants to be partners with the U.S. We moved on to Japan. The president and the new prime minister of Japan had great chemistry. And then we went into Korea, and the meeting with President Xi was one of great respect and many accomplishments.
It's called a fact enema. That's what we call those. When instead of just simply criticizing somebody and trying to like argue in their arena, you just bowl them over with the facts. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. These people are really good at it. And you know what's even better? It's always better when you have the facts on your side. When it's kind of one of those stories when you say, yeah, it has the added benefit of being true. It's not an opinion argument. It's exactly what you're able to present right then and there. And Mike Johnson did a similar thing this morning over the whole Obamacare thing. And these guys keep talking about how this is about health care and this is about this and it's about that. They're like, no, it's not. It's about you guys wanting to keep funding legal aliens. And now we're discovering that you're basically giving away SNAP benefits to illegal aliens. That's how much you hate minorities and poor people. Is that you're making them share SNAP benefits with illegal aliens just so you could get more votes. And now it's exposed that and now suddenly people are crapping all over the SNAP program when the SNAP program is totally legit when it's used for legit purposes, and I mean for Americans. And some Americans are abusing it, that kind of thing. But the hardest abuse is coming from the illegal aliens. And how bad is it that the Democrats are so bad at this that everything they're doing is exposing how responsible they are for the illegal aliens coming into this country by the millions? Man, I'm telling you what, at some point, if I'm a black citizen in Chicago, if I'm a black citizen anywhere, or I'm a minority anywhere, or a poor person anywhere, I am carrying burning torches to the homes of these Democrats who have been abusing them, undermining them, and replacing them for generations. And I'll go a little bit further. I'll just say decades. And now they suddenly realize the people who have said that they're their friends actually betrayed them every step of the way.
Go to the third one. False claim number 3, Democrats are fighting for health care. You've heard this over and over and over. Let me say something very simply about this false claim. It is the Democrats who created Obamacare. It is the Democrats who did that without any Republican votes. It's the Democrats who, by extension, have cost the American taxpayers And people who have health insurance have made their costs skyrocket. It is their policies that made that happen. And so instead of reforming it, the Democrats don't reform Obamacare. They want to subsidize it. They want to spend more taxpayer dollars. That, by the way, goes mostly to insurance companies, which makes the cost rise further. That's the Democrats' plan. When they passed Obamacare in 2010, they called it the Affordable Care Act. We know the truth is exactly the opposite. By some estimates, premiums have risen 60% in many categories since they passed that bill into law. Now, the fact is the opposite. Republicans are the ones fighting to save healthcare. Why? It's not just talking points to us. We do this. We have ideas, and we have already implemented ideas and measures to reduce costs, increase access and quality, and eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, why do we say it's not just a talking point? Why do we say the Republican Party is the only one advancing common sense reform solutions? Because we've proven it. We did that in the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut. We took a look at Medicaid, and we took on that challenge. We took action to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. We got able-bodied young men without dependents off the program. We got illegal aliens off the program, and we saved $185 billion just to start. We got millions of ineligible enrollees off the program, and it preserved it. It strengthened Medicaid for the people who rely upon it, which is the elderly, disabled, and young pregnant women, as we always use as an example. No, it's not about health care. That is a false claim, and everybody knows it. Everyone in America, and certainly everybody in this room, understands that this is about something else.
Sure as hell do. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats, through their policies of piling on illegals and people who don't deserve benefits, have actually almost destroyed benefit programs, if you can believe that. They shall not be let off the hook. This is the Allman Report on Newstalk STL.
The left, for months now,
One by one,
have been begging for a civil war.
every caller gets their say.
We got to stop and not put these officers in situations where they feel like they have to overreact.
And whether you agree
We have to assume some responsibility because I'm a black man.
or disagree,
I think you're politically wrong.
I do not need athletes to tell me.
you're invited to join the conversation.
Thank you for canceling all your games. Now I get it.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
At Town Hall, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The administration will partially fund the SNAP food aid program to keep it running during the government shutdown.
In response to a pair of judges' rulings, the Department of Agriculture will provide some SNAP benefits after funding ran out over the weekend. It's not clear how much beneficiaries will receive. It's also not immediately known how quickly beneficiaries will see value show up on the debit cards they use to buy groceries. SNAP is the country's largest food program and serves about 1 in 8 Americans. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A major corporate takeover in the consumer healthcare sector has been announced. Here's correspondent Mike Hempin.
Kimberly-Clark is buying Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, for $48.7 billion. The deal means several household brands will be under the same roof. Listerine mouthwash and Band-Aid made by Kenvue will be side by side with Huggies and Kleenex tissues made by Kimberly-Clark. The combined company will generate about $32 billion in annual income. The deal is expected to close in the second half of next year. It still needs approval from shareholders of both companies. I'm Mike Hempin.
A powerful 6.3 magnitude earthquake shook northern Afghanistan before dawn today, killing at least 20 people and injuring more than 640.
Residents clear the rubble of their destroyed homes in the Afghan province of Samangam. Amazia tells CAP it was early in the morning and there was a strong earthquake. When I came out, the houses were destroyed and the air was very polluted. We've been busy rescuing the injured. Impoverished Afghanistan often faces difficulties responding to such natural disasters, especially in remote regions. Buildings tend to be low-rise constructions, mostly of concrete and brick, with some homes also made of wood. I'm Charles Tiladespa.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-304-3399. 800-304-3399. That's 800-304-3399.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
What a beautiful autumn day underway out there. Lots of sunshine and dry air. The dew points are near 40 degrees. Just beautiful out there and dry. We're looking at highs tomorrow, even a little bit warmer. In fact, we're going to hit some low 70s at times this week. So a beautiful week coming up with not lots of mild air. Our next rain chance Thursday night into early on Friday morning. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Want to work with a winner? Follow the multiplier. 279 times growth in total market cap in the past nearly 30 years. 50 times growth in client assets, and ranked the #1 wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction by J.D. Power 3 years in a row. Choose a winner. Choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Hey, Mike Ferguson here. And for nearly 40 years, Nutrition Stop has been St. Peter's trusted source for natural living. They've got a great, knowledgeable staff offering more than just products. They provide guidance on your wellness journey with exceptional service. From 100% grass-fed meats like elk and bison and local produce to quality supplements and clean household products. 4101 Mexico Road in St. Peter's, just off the interstate at Cave Springs and Highway 70.
Attention St. Charles, looking for a local spot that satisfies all your cravings? Mario's Donut Restaurant is your place to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From mouth-watering sandwiches and omelets to delicious gyros, Mexican dishes, salads, and wraps, we've got it all. And don't forget our famous donuts. They're so good, they'll make your eyes glaze over. Dine in or carry out, our friendly staff is ready to serve you with love and care. Mention News Talk STL when you visit. Call 636-447-4515 or visit mariosdonutrestaurant.com.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 1019 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Need a friend. Don't look to a stranger. You know in the end.
Good afternoon, everyone, and
I'll always be there.
welcome to the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here with you and Ashland over there.
When you're in danger, take a look all around.
And so this is, I don't know why sometimes I have to admit, well, I'm supposed to be working and everything. I use this radio show as an excuse to listen to music. And then I get like a song. I'm supposed to be like a bumper music song. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this for a little bit. Anyway, someday I have to just get back on it. So good afternoon, everyone. So anyway, I really don't mean to overdo my despising of Canadians. I'm not. I don't want to be gratuitous about it, but this is where like this Blue Jays analyst, you know, they win the Dodgers win the World Series, and this guy has the nerve, and this is so typical Canada. Listen to this guy.
A lot of wet eyes, and I don't doubt him, and I don't blame him for that. And it's going to sound like sour grapes, and I don't really give a shit, but I think the better team did not win this series. I think the Blue Jays are the better team, and I feel like they played baseball a certain way that was infectious, that grabbed the attention of the fans, and it's disheartening to see that the better team did not win. And that's not to take anything away from the Dodgers.
Of course not.
The Blue Jays, they did so many things correct, they did so many things right.
Yeah, you know, and here's the thing, and this is where liberalism has kind of infected sports and even sports analysis. Is if you lose a game to another team, the team that beat you is better than you are. Or am I mistaken by all that, or am I getting that wrong? The reality is that doesn't exist except in the mind of a liberal, that somehow a team can lose to another team, but the team that lost is still the better team. That's total typical. And again, this guy, typical, 35, 45-year-old white liberal analyst for the Blue Jays who doesn't comprehend the fact that not everybody gets a trophy. You are either a winner or you are a loser. Now, again, you don't, I mean, when I say loser, that doesn't mean that you sit there and call people losers. I wouldn't call the Blue Jays a bunch of losers. They're a really good team. I was very impressed with them, but they're not the better team. They lost. That's not hard to understand, except the problem is that that attitude kind of has infected, and it's kind of like the Generation X attitude. That, oh, well, they lost, but they're not but the better team didn't win. It's like, that's absolutely factually untrue. Like there's no way to fantasize that the better team won when that team lost. So they're not the better team. And it's weird because this should be something that is really super obvious to anybody. That the better team is the team that wins, and the less better team is the team that doesn't win. How come we're having to talk about this right now and figure this out? Like there's no alternative opinion to this. I'm supposing that maybe at some point you can have somebody, an umpire or somebody steal a game. I mean, I get that part of it. So there are exceptions. But, even if you go back to the Don Denkinger moment, we don't really have to, because the Post-Dispatch already did, thinking that we really give a rip about Don Denkinger's daughter. Oh, I still can't believe the Post did that. So here we are, licking our wounds from an awful season perpetrated by the front office and everybody else. And the Post-Dispatch decides, I know what we'll do. Let's go interview Don Denkinger's daughter. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, and again, he's dead. But that doesn't really, I'm not really obsessed over that. But, the reality is that was in the 6th game. And the Cardinals lost the 7th. I think that was the 7th. So that they still had another run the next night and lost. So I don't know. I'm not too upset about that. So, but every once in a while you'll have something stolen from you, and you have to kind of figure it out. But the reality is, in this case, the better team won. But this is so typical of the of the Generation X liberal mindset in sports and everything else. And it's got to be embarrassing to this guy and even the Blue Jays fans. I'm sure there are some, I'm sure they're all over the internet, who believe that, we're the better team, but we lost. It's like, well, you're not, though, because you lost. That's pretty much, sorry to break it to you. By the way, Phil Valencia sent me a text during the show, and it was, which I think is pretty funny. It was a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer. And then the top is the writing is, when food stamps run out, we still have each other. With Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, that's pretty funny. What does that mean? Jeffrey Dahmer was a cannibal. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you guys know. So, you guys know my feelings about the food stamp program. My opinion has always been that if the government is going to steal money from my paycheck and redistribute it, the food stamp program is probably one that I could get behind, because, it's supposed to be supplemental. It's supposed to be temporary, and it's supposed to go to Americans. The Democrats have made it so that it is not temporary. They have made it so half the people on it are illegal aliens. And they have made it so that fraud is rampant, and it actually got to endangering the programs. As Mike Johnson pointed out, the Republicans have saved many of these so-called welfare programs by going in and carving out the cancers in these programs that were threatening the overall life of the program. So it doesn't matter whether it is Social Security, which isn't really welfare because we pay into it. So I wouldn't, Social Security has really, is not really an entitlement, even though they do pay a percentage over what we have put in. So I get that part of it. But Social Security, Medicaid, the SNAP program, all those kinds of things, and the S is supplemental just so you know, and they've gone in and found things that threaten the overall livelihood and longevity of these programs to keep them going, keep them funded fully, and everything else, so that there wouldn't have to be. So let's just put it this way: with all the illegal aliens receiving these benefits, invariably what happens is, when instead of actually like cutting the program or cutting those people out, what they do is they cut the amount of benefits, because to keep up with the demand for the benefits. But if you go ahead and wipe out the demand of illegal aliens, then you're already ahead of the game there. So if you wipe out that part of it, then you don't have to cut the. It's very simple, and I think you understand what I'm saying. You don't have to cut the benefits to the people who are currently receiving them legally. But again, the program's designed to be supplemental. So apparently all over the media now, they're talking about this one story, and Republicans are glomming onto it about this is coming out of New Mexico. This is it.
The first thing I did was grab my phone and call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades.
That's the first problem, that this woman has received supplemental nutrition assistance for 30 years. And what's interesting is that the news media has very little curiosity in these situations, where it's kind of like, how come you've been getting this for 30 years? And as large as our hearts are, and mine is, for people who need some assistance, at least temporarily, because we all know that any of us could wind up in a bad situation just with the loss of a job or what have you, or a spouse's job, or we understand that. But very few of us will understand somebody being on this for 30 years. That's not making you a bad person when you're like, I don't think you ought to be like on this for 30 years. But yeah, and this reporter's like, yeah, she's been on it for 30 years.
And when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she says she also relies on food banks to get enough food.
So okay. So for 30 years, you've basically been receiving government assistance for your food, and you're going around to food banks for 30 years. Like, at what point do you decide, I need to get a job, I need to do something, I need to step up and do this or do that, instead of just running around to food pantries where there probably are people who need this just as much or more than you do, and you're getting supplemental insurance for 30 years, and you're going around and grazing on food banks.
Have depended on those benefits since the 1990s, and it's detrimental to my life if I don't get them.
There are more than 460,000 New Mexicans using SNAP benefits. Tonight, some of them telling us they don't have those right now. Friday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $30 million in state funds would be used to supply SNAP users starting November 1st.
We're going to choose feeding families over politics. In New Mexico, we're going to do that right now.
Yeah, you're going to choose feeding families over the Democrat Party. So all these other people are going to probably be doing the same thing. I noticed that there was a Democrat in Missouri who was bitching and moaning about the fact that Kehoe wasn't doing enough here, doing it up there. And I'm like thinking to myself, dude, you got some nerve zeroing in on somehow attacking Mike Kehoe when your Democrat Party is responsible for all this. And it's only a matter of time, of course, before the news media and you and me, everybody else, people are starting to kind of get the drift here. that this is not a Republican problem, that this is clearly a Democrat problem, and I think most people are waking up to it. We get into a point where, obviously President Trump has been ordered, by the way, to go ahead and provide these SNAP benefits. So once again, it looks like President Trump is going to have to bail out the Democrats again, even though they don't deserve it. Judge Napolitano is going to be coming in just a little bit here. And there's a judge involved in this Arctic frost thing. Some people are saying he should be charged with a crime. So we'll follow up on that. On this happy Monday, this 3 Martini lunch. This is Common Sense Radio on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Duck season opens November 1st in Missouri's North Zone, and deer rifle season starts November 15th. Hunters, are you ready? Mike Ferguson here for Whistle Pig Outdoors. They have everything you need. Stock up on premium ammo, upgrade your decoy spread, and stay dry with top-quality, field-tested waders. Whistle Pig also has big game clothing, deer stands, blinds, and scents. From waterfowl to whitetail, Whistle Pig Outdoors has you covered on North Main in Troy or at whistlepigoutdoors.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Just the convenience on the phone. Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime,
Everywhere.
anywhere.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the program. It's called the 3 Martini Lunch, and it's Common Sense Radio, also known as the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Tomorrow is of course, New York City mayor's race, which I will be very happy when it's over so we can be put out of our misery of talking about this guy. Interesting to see what happens. I just a little unclear about it. My daughter lives in Brooklyn and my brother lives in Manhattan. I did not talk to them much about this. We didn't have much time to do that, but I hope he wins. Let's let this play out. Let's let it go. let's see what happens. I mean, New York City's not going to be destroyed by one guy. I mean, it can be, but I don't think it will be. Always have the mafia to keep things rolling, in Broadway. So you can't really totally ruin New York City. And on top of that, though, do we really? I've already told you we don't want Cuomo in there. Cuomo, he will spend the entirety of his term bashing Donald Trump. I mean, and the news media will need somebody like that to kind of provide this foil for Donald Trump. So I remember during COVID, you guys do remember during COVID, how they treated Cuomo. They treated him like Trump's equal. And, it's not like President Trump can't handle that Goomba, but just having to put up with him is hard enough. I'll put up with Mom Donnie all day long because he'll sit there and talk about his dreams and all that stuff and just keep everybody kind of busy there in the with everybody with their beaks open and everybody else. But Cuomo gets in there, it's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. And again, as I told you during the time of COVID, one of the problems was that, Cuomo would have his little news conferences and stuff like that. And Fox News would take them all live. And so we had the Trump briefings, and then suddenly we go off to Cuomo with his stupid little bomber jacket on, and everybody would kiss his butt while he was killing old people and doing whatever he's doing up the skirts of any woman around him. It's like, dude, we don't want that guy. Believe me. And Cuomo, if he wins this race, it'll be completely undeserved, and he'll walk around like he's some kind of mob boss or something. And I just hope it doesn't happen. In the meantime, also, ladies and gentlemen, over the weekend, it was kind of disturbing because I remember her from long ago. I don't know whether you guys saw this disturbing story about Angie Mock. Used to be over Channel 2, and I remember people were, I'm especially guys. I don't remember. I don't know. There's always somebody mentioning some random person on television, and I never really, I was like, Angie Mock, she's so hot. I can't, I love watching her. I'm like, who? I mean, she was on in the morning, and I was actually on doing morning radio, so I never knew who she was. And plus, I'm not impressed with that kind of stuff. But anyway, she winds up getting arrested for murdering her mom. What city was that again in? Or was that Memphis or something? I can't remember where she was. Living with her mom and stabbing her mom to death. And then they had a picture of her juxtaposed with her from her anchoring, and then alongside her picture from a mugshot. It's like, man, did things go? It's been 14 years or so, but things kind of gone south. And I never know how that happens to people. And I'm sure that there were probably some problems down the line, and just always really, I don't know why she did it, but you always just feel bad. You feel bad that they got to that place where they were even there, like even in that situation. You're thinking, man, that's pretty rough. But anyway, that was a story that lots of people in St. Louis were talking about over the where was it? Oh, Wichita. That's right. Wichita, Kansas. That's right. Yeah. So just kind of a sad story all around. I'm sure it has linked to drugs or something. You never know. All right. Abby Phillip. Now you guys know that that a lot of people on the left love to talk in these, I guess you could call them consortium lingo, people who talk in these euphemisms like people living in information silos. Well, we call them information silos. It kind of like it comes from like Kamala speak, you know. I think people are living in information silos. It's like, oh gosh, stop with your, these are the kinds of things that you get at these weekend retreats. Don't be in your information silo. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she believes that Abby Phillip believes that MAGA people live in information silos. That's what she believes.
Do you feel like you better understand what drives MAGA politics because of this show?
Yeah, actually, to tell you the truth, by the way, you guys ought to be spending more time figuring out where you are and what you're doing, because this guy insinuating somehow that the left is trying to figure out how do you terminology?
Do you feel like you better understand what drives MAGA politics because of this show?
Yeah. Why are you spending time trying to figure out what drives MAGA politics? Unless you're planning to adopt the MAGA politic, why are you spending time trying to figure out what drives MAGA politics? If I'm like a Democrat and I want, my party to be better, right? Then I would rather people who are the opinion leaders and other people to spend time in a situation where they're trying to figure out how they could best, what really connects with the American people. What do the American people really want? But I will tell you, before I get to Abby here, I will tell you that one of the problems that the Democrats have and people on the left have is that if they ask that question of what Americans really want, then we're going to wind up in a situation where, and they're going to wind up in one where the answers they are getting are already provided for by the Trump administration and MAGA. So what they try to do instead is the left tries to create new avenues to invent controversies. Oh, Trump's going to get us into war, which of course doesn't work. Trump isn't for poor people, or Trump's a racist, or he's a king, or this kind of thing, because they actually are trying to purposely divert attention away from the reality that is right before them. And so they're trying to avoid the inevitable self-reflection that they're going to have to deal with. So they basically, instead of trying to figure out not what drives MAGA politics, but figure out why President Trump won and is resonating with so many Americans from so many different walks of life. If I'm recommending that to the Democrats, I'm giving them advice. That's what I'm telling them to do. I'm like, you guys would be better off spending that time instead of trying to put us in a petri dish. But if that's the way you want to spend your time, knock yourself out.
Do you feel like you better understand what drives MAGA politics because of this show?
Yeah.
You feel like you got enough of the
I talk to tried and true, dyed in the wool MAGA people every single day. And so, yeah, I understand where they come from. I understand the information silos that they're in that make it hard to see outside of it. And
so again, this is a typical example of somebody, like, a lot of people who sometimes are seriously mentally ill exist in a world where they think everybody else is the mentally ill person and they're not. Like, those people just actually don't understand what they understand. And so, as you can tell by Abby Phillip saying that, well, these people kind of live in information silos and don't see the other side, and she's assuming that the only reason somebody would vote for President Trump or be part of MAGA is if somehow we just don't know the brilliance of the left. Like they just haven't been exposed to all the amazing things that we are. And of course, it's not only is an arrogant position to take, it's also pretty destructive to your cause because you're actually assuming that the only reason you're not in power and the only reason people don't understand you is because they're not intelligent enough to understand you. They're not informed enough to understand you. I mean, that's really a super arrogant thing and way to carry yourself when you say, I talk to them, but they're kind of in information silos. They don't understand. Never even occurring to you, Abby, that the reality is you might be in the information silo. I mean, after all, shouldn't you be the one wondering whether or not you guys are on the wrong track, as opposed to assuming that people who are winning are on the wrong track? It's kind of like that guy with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers and the analyst saying, well, they're not the better team. We just lost. I'm like, I don't think that really makes any sense. We're the better team, but we lost. I'm like, okay, then you're not the better team. I mean, it's like that analyst saying, well, I think the Dodgers just simply lived in a baseball silo and didn't understand that we were the better team, and so they beat our asses. I wish they would have known how great we were, because then we would have won the game. I mean, that is a ridiculous thing to say. And similarly, Abby Phillips is like, yeah, MAGA people, you mean the people who are kicking your butt? The people you mean the people who are watching shows that are not yours, that are beating you every single night? Why do you think Scott Jennings is getting a raise like every other month, Abby? He's on your show. That's not an information silo. That's you getting your butt kicked and thinking that that's where we are.
And so, yeah, I understand where they come from. I understand the information silos that they're in that make it hard to see outside of it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're just too stupid to realize just how amazing Abby and her liberal crew is,
And it's not that complicated. I mean, I think that they like winning. And Trump is winning in their minds. So
Trump is winning. I mean, does this not sound exactly like that Blue Jays analyst? Well, I think the Dodgers think they won, but we're the better team. It's like, no, they won. You're standing on a field that is empty right now because the game is over. You're talking while they're getting ready to hand the World Series trophy to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And you're still standing there going, well, I don't know. We're the better team, so I don't care what anybody thinks. We're the better team. It's like, well, unfortunately, you're not the better team. You just lost the World Series. Abby Phillips similarly is like, well, I think they're winning. They think Donald Trump is winning. It's like, Donald Trump is winning, dear. I don't know. I mean, these people you talk about information silos.
Outside of it. And it's not that complicated. I mean, I think that they like winning. And Trump is winning in their minds. So in a way, it to me, it boils down to mostly that.
Yeah, It doesn't sound, she sounds like she's dumb as a bag of hair, first of all. It doesn't have really any kind of analytical thinking skills. And then she says Trump is winning in their minds. It's like every single poll says that Trump is winning. Harry Enton, who happens to be a CNN employee, goes on once a week to talk about how President Trump is winning. So she's, again, you talk about information silos. She's in like an information space capsule floating around in space because she will not acknowledge the fact that that people who are in MAGA are not delusional. They're actually better informed than these individuals are, which is why poor Abby has to sit there on a podcast and pretend something is happening that isn't. I'm sorry, I don't know how this kind of got in there, but I don't know how that happened. Oh, that was something else. I don't know what that was. Anyway, check it out, people. Judge Andrew Napolitano is on his way. We're going to talk about this, well, maybe we will, this corrupt judge, as far as I'm concerned. The attempt to take President Trump down, see what's going to happen in terms of accountability. This is Common Sense Radio.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Salute the savings at Country Mart this Veterans Day with our 3-day sale November 7th through 9th. Fire up the grill with family pack ground beef, only $3.99 a pound. Assorted Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, or 7-Up 6-packs. An amazing 3 for $10. We're also featuring Lay's party-sized potato chips, $4.49. Hunt's tomatoes, 4 for $4. And Best Choice ice cream, just $4.98. Salute the savings at Country Mart November 7th through 9th. 925 Plaza Drive in St. Clair.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event takes place on Tuesday, November 18th at the factory in the district of the Chesterfield Valley. You'll hear from their experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2026 and beyond. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. and the program starts at 8 a.m. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by calling 314-212-1595. That's Royal Banks of Missouri.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Did Donald Trump and Republicans make everything great again over the weekend? We'll discuss with Senator Jim Talent at 425. At 525, Red State Headlines with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Inside my heart there's an emptiness, a heavy hate on a hollow chest. So spoken like a disease is the way to incomplete me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Allman Report. News Talk STL. And whenever we can get this brilliant man on with us, we are on a high. That is for sure. His name is Judge Andrew Napolitano, and Judging Freedom. You see him on Newsmax. He's just all over the place, spreading common sense and expertise all over the world. Hey, buddy, how you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, Jamie, now that I'm with you. How are you, pal?
I'm doing great. It's so wonderful to talk to you, and I know you've been super busy, and I enjoy, sometimes I'm right here in the studio, and I'm watching you over there on Newsmax or doing whatever. So I always know that you're in good health and everything else when I could see your smiling face there on TV. So,
dear friend, you're very kind.
so a lot of people have been, well, I don't know what really is in top of mind for you, but a lot of people have been talking about this one judge, Boasberg, involved with Arctic frost, and people are trying to say, hey, he needs to be charged since he was allowing all these phone tapping things to go on, whatever. What is your take on this case?
Well, it's a little complex. I'll start at the end. A federal judge can only be impeached for treason, bribery, or high crimes or misdemeanors. It's the same standard for impeaching the president. So he cannot be impeached because he properly or improperly authorizes a search warrant. Now, I know that Senator Hawley of Missouri and Senator Cruz of Texas and other senators who are also friends of mine are not happy at what Jack Smith did. But Jack Smith, when he was investigating the president for reasons best known only to him, did not get a search warrant from Judge Boasberg or anyone else. He used authorities that Congress has authorized to obtain metadata without a search warrant. Now, I happen to think that these authorities are unconstitutional, but Congress has authorized them and they've been used for 40 years. Metadata is records from the phone company of who made what phone call. So phone number 1 calls phone number 2, and they talked for 23 minutes. Phone number 1 is registered to such and such a senator. Phone number 2 is registered to a pizza parlor or whoever the senator called. The content of the call is not revealed in metadata, only its existence, its date, and its duration. When the Congress authorized federal law enforcement to do that to the rest of us, they probably never imagined that it would be done to them. In fairness to Senator Hawley of Missouri, he voted against this. In accuracy to Senator Cruz, he voted in favor of it. Then the feds went to Judge Boasberg and said, we need an order in which you tell the telecoms not to reveal that we have come calling. That also is authorized under the statute for which Senator Cruz voted and against which Senator Hawley voted. So Judge Boasberg did nothing more. Now you're hearing this from a person who believes, as you know, that all surveillance without a search warrant under the Fourth Amendment is unconstitutional. So everything I'm telling you that he did, in my view, was unconstitutional, but lawful because Congress authorized it. What Congress never imagined, I am sure, is that this would be used against them. Justice Scalia told me he knew that the feds were gathering metadata on the court, on the Supreme Court itself, because they can do it without a search warrant, without a subpoena, without even a case of controversy. The statute lets them do it. So that's what happened to these senators. They're feigning outrage, except for Senator Hawley, because he voted against this. Their feigning outrage was ridiculous because they voted in favor of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really, along the lines of all this, even like, for instance, the phone tapping thing is interesting because, that is something I think down the line that I think all of us as regular Americans would be concerned about. And it's not necessarily that if you're able to get a judge to sign off on it or warrant, whatever, it's that Verizon, and I think you've gone through a couple decades here where this has come up before, especially during 9/11, the post 9/11 stuff, where AT&T and some of these phone companies were cooperating in the monitoring of people's phones and things like that post 9/11 and with the Patriot Act and everything else. And one of them was not only was did it happen, but then these individuals, I think including Ted Cruz and others, said they were never really informed that they were under investigation or that this was the case. I know that generally doesn't it makes sense that would happen so people aren't tipped off. But what's your take on the whole corporate cooperation with all this and privacy and things like that?
Well, I condemn the corporate cooperation. I mean, basically, the Bush administration, this is George W. now, we're going back to the days and weeks and months right after 9/11, put a gun to the head of AT&T and Verizon and the other telecoms and said, you'll cooperate with us or else. So there's a telecom office, an AT&T office in San Francisco, where there's a whole floor operated by the federal government, because they literally have access 24/7 to all of AT&T's mainframes. So this is profoundly unconstitutional, but in my opinion, lawful, because the Congress has authorized. The Congress doesn't give a damn about the Constitution, no matter what they say. And that includes, again, with the exception of Senator Hawley, that includes all the members of that committee who were so outraged when they learned that they were being surveilled. But none of them was wiretapped in the traditional sense. Wiretapping means the contents of the conversation, the words the senator spoke to the guy at the pizza shop, or to his lawyer, or to his spouse, whoever he's talking to, were captured in real time. That is not what happened with Jack Smith. In order for that to happen, he would need an authorization from a federal judge, and he would have to demonstrate to the federal judge that in the conversation they would likely find evidence of crime. That's a very high bar to meet, and that's not what happened here. So when you hear those senators saying my phone calls were tapped, they're misusing the word. Their metadata was tapped, but not their phone calls.
Oh, I got you. Okay. And it would be.
Now, look, this is still emblematic of the lack of respect that that law enforcement has for the Constitution, that the Congress has for the Constitution, that it would have written these statutes and that they would be enforced. The Supreme Court has not upheld this, but lower federal courts have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. I was just wondering. And then ultimately, what do you? I mean, I think this is ultimately going to be a concern. I think we're going to kind of get into this battle about government's power to kind of go after people who have been proven to be undermining whatever. And it looks like we're in for the next 25 years of both parties trying their best to kind of go after people that sometimes legitimately, but it's still going to be something that winds up with prosecution here, prosecution there. It seems like we're on that path.
Unfortunately, it does. I don't know how it's going to end. The case against John Bolton is a serious one. The cases against Jim Comey and Letitia, I don't remember her last name, the Attorney General of New York. Those cases are garbage, and they'll be dismissed. They involved shenanigans on the part of the prosecutor, hiding information from having a grand jury refusing to indict, and then hiding information that was exculpatory from a second grand jury just to get the indictment. Both those cases will be thrown out. But the idea that the president should be pounding the podium and demanding that somebody be prosecuted is unseemly. Now, I know that my hero, Thomas Jefferson, did this with respect to Aaron Burr, his vice president in the first Jefferson administration, but I still condemn it.
So really quickly with the Aaron Burr situation. So what exactly was Jefferson doing, like in particular? Like what was he trying to do?
He was trying to get the House to impeach Burr for treason, because Burr was attempting to put together a rump government of the United States of America to govern certain Western territories and claimed that it was an independent country. I mean, this is crazy. You can't make it up. He was indicted for treason. Jefferson attempted to preside at the Senate trial, but he was the president and only the Chief Justice can preside. So the Chief Justice said, no, I'm not going to let you preside. And then the Senate acquitted Aaron Burr.
Well, I'll tell you, it's what a story, and we kind of forget about that character, and it still is an interesting one in the end because, well, you know,
after Burr killed Alexander Hamilton in a duel.
Yeah,
a duel was legal under federal law, but illegal under New Jersey law, which is where the duel occurred. That's when Burr fled to the Southwest, and that's when he put together some sort of, according to Jefferson, rump government of the Southwest. I don't even know what they called the country. It was some new country wanted to form out of territories over which the United States had a claim. That was the so-called treason.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's interesting, you know, and I don't know, this is kind of what I have been able to glean, but I can't attest to its absolute accuracy. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, Hamilton made a big mistake because generally you're supposed to fire into the ground, and apparently Hamilton fired, but not intending to fire at Burr, but just kind of to do that like they do with duels. And Burr then at that point had the excuse to go ahead and shoot him outright because of the belief that Hamilton was shooting at him and not into the ground. So
that's 100% correct. Now that shooting into the ground is a defense if you shoot the person who shot into the ground under federal law, but not under New Jersey law. So this is one of those crazy things like marijuana is criminal under federal law, but legal under 37 state laws. So this clash between federal and state law goes way back.
Judge Napolitano, it was absolutely a pleasure to have you on. We'll see you at Judging Freedom, judgingfreedom.com, and on Newsmax. We are blessed by the generosity of your time, my friend, and your knowledge. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love you, Jamie. Thank you. All the best, my friend.
You too, my friend.
Bye-bye.
That is Judge Andrew Napolitano. Tony Colombo straight ahead. Ashlyn, thank you much. You guys, thank you. Love you so much. Thank you.
Your business moves fast. PRI Global keeps it moving smarter for almost 30 years, delivering top tech talent to help companies grow stronger, custom applications, simplifying your operations, securing your data, modernizing your business from the cloud up. And with Prismatic, you're going to get real-time insights, automated workflows, people, process, platform. PRI Global delivers all three. PRIglobal.com.
Colombo here for my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. The knowledgeable staff at Bluff City has served the St. Louis outdoor community for decades, and they can take care of all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, all your fishing needs, and more. Plus, while you're there, you can schedule a trip with a local fishing guide and shoot in their archery range. Bluff City Outdoors is open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, does having more economic freedom make a difference in people's lives, such as maybe helping reduce poverty?
It definitely makes a difference. Economic freedom is critical for fostering well-being and prosperity. It enables people to make their own choices and pursue their own interest, like choosing careers, starting businesses, and innovating to make the world better. It thrives in environments that empower people, promote competition, and protect property rights, all while being supported by limited and healthy government. Economic freedom is a catalyst for generating higher incomes, greater wealth, more opportunities, better access to education, and improved health at all levels of society. It makes